Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Rex, and today I'll be focusing on a somewhat more important topic than my previous Ausseos videos. Today, I'll be redesigning some of the starter Pokemon for Ausseos. Now enough about the topic of this video, let's get into it. This grass starter would not be the first or middle stage, even though I'll admit they could use a slight tweak. They aren't my biggest concern right now, so for this line I'll just be focusing on the final stage. To be completely honest, this was way more of a technique and repose update more than anything. I didn't really change much at all, design-wise. I did make the pose more expressive and gave the face a happy personality. I did, however, tweak the proportions a bit to fit the final stage proportions of a starter, but I gave the ice more of a icy texture. I guess shiny is the word, but I made it look more like ice rather than a goofy blue plastic shield. There's not really more to comment on this other than what I said in the original video, but I will say I'm very happy with how this redesign turned out. Frigitis, the Ice Blade Pokemon. For the fire starters, there's really not much to change concept-wise. Design-wise, however, I took a few liberties with that. See, my friend made a sticker of my starters a while ago, and he kind of changed a few things, design-wise. I looked at how the head was in his sticker, and how my design could use a little bit of an update, so I went off the sticker for the new design. I really just updated its proportions a bit, and simplified some of the design features to make it fit the starter title, and honestly, it worked out perfectly. There's really not much to it. It's just a snake with a few designs and stripes on it, and unique patterns. That's all there is. I also changed its name to fit its origins. Flamaddle sounds dumb to me. I don't know where I came up with that goofy name. Its new name, however, is Charcoral, a combination of charcoal, because, you know, it's a fire type, a charcoal nose patch, collar, tailpiece, and coral, referring to its species inspiration, which is the coral snake. I know most of you will probably think I chose snake because of the Chinese zodiac theory, but to be honest, I just love snakes. I always have. The Chinese zodiac theory is great, don't get me wrong, but Australia is full of snakes, and they just so happen to be my favorite animal, so it's good, it just works. Charcoral, the burn bite Pokemon. Charcoral have unique, flammable appendages on its body that can ignite when scraped on sharp or hard objects. Its jaw hinge can hyperextend to the point where it can swallow anything that it craves. This Pokemon is the easiest starter of the three to make with friends, as it is incredibly food motivated. As I show this time lapse of the middle stage, I will address something that some of you might be wondering about. In the starter video, I skipped over the middle stage of Charcoral's line because I mentioned how its current design left me somewhat unhappy with just all of it in general, and I also mentioned how I was reworking it at the time and I would show it to you guys once it was ready. Since then, however, I've redesigned it along with its evolutions. This, in my opinion, would be the perfect medium between Charcoral and, well, its final form. I gave it a flame mohawk because, well, it's the middle stage, teenager, rebel, arrogant snake, short temper, big ego, you know, it just works. I also upgraded a few of Charcoral's main design features with this, while adding some new things altogether, just to further evolve the concept. There's not a ton of inspirations with this, it's really just Charcoral but evolved with some other cool things, but it's not too drastic of an evolution, of course, but I do think it's not too similar. Sorroil, the fire serpent Pokemon. Unlike Charcoral, Sorroil are tougher and fiercer than their previous form. Sorroil can wrap around their opponents with surprising force, leaving them crippled with fiery blast. Sorroil have short tempers. The angrier they get, the brighter its flame mohawk burns. Well, you could say we're blazing through the... I'm sorry, I won't do that. Anyway, the final stage would be mainly based off the Coral Snake, just like its prevos, but would also take some inspiration from the King Cobra, Red-Bellied Cobra, Boa, and a little bit of that fact that some snake bites can feel like a hot stove, which, well, I've never been bit by a snake, but I'm guessing hurts. I gave it a somewhat coiled up pose, you know, to show how long this dude is. Its flame hood resembles a cobra hood, and its tail looks somewhat like a trident, or even, you know, an aboriginal weapon used thousands of years ago. I turned the charcoal marking on the Prevost snouts, and I guess head in the middle stage, into more of a crown shape, since, well, you know, it's a king. It's a king cobra, king crown, you get it. This is probably my favorite design of all 9, but I could see a slight tweak in the future. We'll see. And like with the first stage, I changed its name to fit its inspirations. Blazorpent just doesn't fit it in any way whatsoever, so its new name is Blazorial. Just sounds more imperial to me, which imperial is also part of the name, so Blazorial, the fire serpent Pokemon. Many trainers are surprised to see their once cute, small, and happy Charcoral become this despicable beast. Blazorial wraps around its opponents, squeezing the life out of them until they faint. It uses its large golden weapon-like tail to keep its foes still as it charges volcanic energy to bite the opponent with impressive force. Before I get into the designs and all that, I just gotta announce real quick that Marion is getting scrapped. I know, it was a fan favorite for some of you, and it was probably the most picked starter out of the entire comment section, but I honestly think these changes were completely necessary in my opinion. Keep in mind, everything is subject to change, even the starters. I do think these 3 designs will make up for the loss of the old water starters though. As you might have guessed from this time lapse, as you are currently seeing, I'm going full Australian with this guy. It's a platypus. I know, it's so easy and probably the most used Australian Fakemon in Fakemon regions, but come on. It's too perfect. I had to do it. To be real, there isn't much to this little guy, but I did include a few references you'll get later on in its evolutions. I will say the hair is just a fun trait like Quaxley. Who knows, if this was an anime, maybe they would get along or be rivals, competing for who has the best hair. I don't know, something like that. I will say, this is definitely the most marketable out of all the starters. Just gonna leave it at that. Platypool, the small swimmer Pokemon. Platypool are very social and friendly, able to win anyone over with just a glimpse of it. Its tail acts like a propeller, moving in a circular motion to swim as fast as a jet ski. Its fur is waterproof and contains a unique oil that prevents water from staying on Platypool. The middle stage would basically just be the first stage, but bipedal, new traits, different design origins, you get it. I do just want to point out, it is funny how the platypus, like its whole thing is that it's poisonous, it has a beak, it looks like a bird, but the main thing that is most interesting about it is that it's the only mammal that can lay eggs. But in the Pokemon world, it's literally just like the most average monster because a freaking electric mouse, Pikachu, can lay eggs in this universe. That's all I'm gonna say about that. I just think it's hilarious. And yes, I am fully aware that this guy looks like Donald Duck. Please don't give me any crap in the comments, guys. Come on. I turned that eye pattern from the first stage into a more goggle-like shape and gave the arms, I guess, elbows, wherever you want to say that is, and I gave it more of like a small purple spiky spurs. That's the word, because duh, platypus, poison. Yeah. Venoplat, the swift stinger Pokemon. Venoplat are often arrogant and take on more than they can fight because of it. It hides poisonous spurs in its fur, spiking them out when threatened. The spurs can paralyze the enemy and leave them fainted with one jab. This will be the last Fakemon for today, folks. Aww. I know, but we gotta end somewhere, right? The final stage is probably similar to the others, but not in a it gets bigger kind of way, but more of a Bulbasaur, Cyndaquil, Mudkip kind of way, where they look evolved, but not like super different, like Greninja and Froakie. What I mean is Froakie into Frogadier, I can kind of see that, but like Froakie versus Greninja, it's kind of hard to see how they look the same other than their blue water frogs. But like with Cyndaquil and Typhlosion, it looks like the same guy, but in a grown-up setting. You know what I mean? I made the goggle pattern from the other 2 stages look more 3D to imply it's a really, really good athlete swimmer, which is probably the biggest theme I chose for this. And the little sharp end of its hair sticking out from that angle, somewhat, kinda, maybe a little bit resembles an air pipe, like the ones that you see on snorkelers. Its feet are, of course, bigger, flatter, longer, wider, and its fur resembles a swimsuit, I guess. I also gave the dude some cool patterns and a $1,000 looking haircut because he's a rich athlete. Just some athlete details, a few unique patterns, but for the most part, not a lot to it. Platoxium, the poison athlete Pokemon. Platoxium are built for fast swimming. Using its big flipper feet, flat tail, and strong arms, Platoxium can swim up to 80 miles per hour with ease. Its poisonous spurs can extend at will, jabbing the opponent with a poisonous sting that can lead to bad injuries or worse. And with that, our batch of starter Pokemon is finally finished. Let me know what your favorite design was and which starter Pokemon you would pick to begin your journey in the Ausseos region. Oh, by the way, I did make these cute little concept arts. I think that's what you call them, concept art. And it's just a bunch of little poses, different activities the Pokemon are doing, just for the first stages. I don't know if I'll do this for the rest of the region in the future. Might be a fun project afterwards, but let me know what you think about these. I spent like 2 to 3 hours for each of these, so I hope you like them. As always, have an amazing day. Rex out. Peace. And be sure to let me know if you have any ideas for this Project Dreamtime. Peace.